What you're saying is that that California, because they're moving up the date of the California primary, the way that they apportion the delegates is different. And what does this mean? This means that that state will come ahead of many of the other winner-take-all states that are coming up. And that means that it looks like, because Donald Trump, as you've been reporting and others have now reported after you, I should point out, that it looks as though he is the runaway front runner, as Steve Cortez mentioned the other day on Twitter Spaces, which was picked up in Newsweek. So he's the runaway front runner, but even if he wins by double digits, that it's possible the number two could get a similar number of delegates because of these new rules, because of this change. Is that right?
It is, and let me just try to explain that really quick. So the way the at-large is, according to the emails that were published and put up and what we're seeing now from the rules change, the at-large, meaning statewide delegates, look like they would be proportionally allocated based on what are called rounding rules. It's all very boring and complicated, but it would be much more like Iowa, but they would still have the district delegates, and instead of there being a winner-take-all provision, which there was, they would be split, basically. So let's say Donald Trump gets 55% in that district, Ron DeSantis gets 18% or 21%, let's be fair here. He's still going to get half the delegates Trump gets, 2-1. And what's the thinking behind that? This was published in the LA Times and other local media, so everyone pretending like they haven't been talking about this for almost a year is just full of it. This is the deal. They think that DeSantis would do better in moderate, even left-leaning districts. Why does that matter? Urban population centers have higher populations, even though they're less Republicans. There are higher population centers, and their districts are more closely, they're closely aligned within a small geographic area. When you're looking at more of the rural areas, like Kevin McCarthy's area is suburban and rural, in Bakersfield, where there are many more Republicans than, say, the Bay Area, you're still only fighting over 3 delegates. So if Trump wins it, he would get 2. The second place would get 1. However, if the loser, the second place loser, wins the liberal urban areas where there are concentrations of districts, they can actually do disproportionate damage to the delegate count. So this was an article, I think, in the LA Times like 3 months ago. This has been something people know and understand. Now, that being said, if you look at the PPIC polls, the Emerson polls, there is a flaw on that if you're a pro-DeSantis person, and the flaw is Trump is ahead in all of these areas anyway. But if it did turn to more of a traditional, Jack, the moderate non-MAGA candidate gets the urban districts, and the MAGA conservative candidate gets the suburban and rural enclaves, that's what would happen. It would be a very disproportionate allocation.